Good morning. Today is Thursday, February 25th. For lunch today, there's cheeseburger with golden french fries, or chicken Caesar wrap, or corn dog on a stick. Today in grades 4 through 5, it's a C day. In grades 6 through 8, it's an A day. During gym recess time today for grades 7 and 8, the Boys and Girls Club option will be available for the advisories of Ms. Brooks and Ms. Lehner. And here's another reminder that our spring sports registration is going on now through March 26. If you're interested, pick up a registration packet at our main office, and practice will start on Monday, April 5th. And nobody's got a birthday today, so we'll try again tomorrow. Hey everybody! So today I'd like to share with you the story of Eugene Bullard, one of the most amazing men that hardly anyone's heard of. So he was not just the first black American aviator, he was also a hero for France during World War I and World War II. Want to know more? Here you go.
Eugene Bullard is one of the great figures in the Great War. Bullard was a young boy from Georgia who escaped poverty and racism and stowed away on a ship to France. He was bouncing around the continent when the war broke out. He fell in love with France and he felt it was his duty to defend her. And he decided to volunteer to fight for France. Eugene Bullard becomes a member of the Foreign Legion and fights bravely and ends up at Verdun. The Battle of Verdun was this apocalyptic struggle between the French and the Germans. It went on for months. Eugene Bullard fights with incredible bravery at Verdun. He's awarded the Croix de Guerre, one of France's highest military honors.
In March of 1916, Bullard was seriously wounded in the Battle of Verdun. While recovering, he volunteered to become an aerial gunner and eventually made his way to flight school. Bullard flew 30 missions in the skies above France and is credited with 2 probable kills. He earned a reputation as a skilled aviator. His nickname in the Lafayette Flying Corps was Hirondelle Noire de la Mort, the Black Swallow of Death. Unfortunately, Bullard's time as a pilot was cut short, not due to illness or death, but because of prejudice. When the United States entered the war, only white men were allowed to fly. However, Bullard received numerous medals and awards from the French government, including the Croix de Guerre and the Médaille Militaire.
And then at the end of the war, he goes back to Paris. He ends up being a contemporary with those like Ernest Hemingway and all the great writers that come through Paris in the 1920s. And Eugene Bullard is running his own jazz club in Paris in the 20s and 30s. And then at the end of the 30s, of course, you know, you've got the Depression and it's very hard luck on folks around the world. And he's continuing to run this jazz club as tension heats up with the Germans and the French. And so Bullard ends up spying for the French government by listening in on Germans as they come into his jazz club in the late 30s. And then, of course, the war begins in 1940. And Bullard, now, you know, an older man, right? He's in his late 40s. He ends up putting his uniform back on, goes back to the front lines to fight the Germans, and is wounded again. Eventually makes his way to the south of France, has to get an American passport and get on a ship out of France. He'll end up dying in New York at 61 years of age. But the real story of Eugene Bullard is this incredible perseverance to get to a place where he's accepted for who he is and then given the opportunities that his skills, his heart delivers, right? And so for you and I, the lesson of Eugene Bullard is we lost that talent to the United States because of the rules we had in place based on the color of a man's skin. So today, we've got to make sure that guys like Eugene Bullard get an absolute fair shot. That's our charter today. That's what it means to be an American today.
So today's challenge is to think about what Major General Pat Donahoe just shared with us right there. The real cost of racism isn't just what it inflicts on the people who are held down by it. It's on all of us because we're deprived of their talents. We're deprived of what it could have been. And major props to Eugene Bullard for taking his talents to where they're appreciated and being a true hero, both in America as well as France. All right, you take care.